So Fabio Wardley says that Frazer Clarke deserves a rematch and that he wouldn't feel right moving on to fight somebody else after that inconclusive result. Now, personally, I don't think that Fabio Wardley owes Frazer Clarke a rematch because I didn't think it was controversial. I thought that a draw was a fair result, but I think a rematch might be a good option for both because I don't think either one of them is really ready for world level just yet, and they can probably make more money fighting each other again than either of them could make fighting in, let's say, a world title eliminator. Unless the Saudis were somehow involved, that is. But that notwithstanding, Wardley Clarke 2 is the biggest fight commercially that either one of them is going to get right now. There have been so many great fights over the years for the British heavyweight title, which is what makes that title so prestigious in Britain. Not just in the eyes of the fighters themselves, but in the eyes of the British public. A British heavyweight title fight is nothing to be scoffed at, and the public were reminded of that with this fight if they needed reminded at all. There are very few other countries in the world where the national title carries so much significance, as is the case with the British title. And it's fitting, of course, with Britain being the birthplace of the most recent incarnation of professional boxing, Queensberry rules. I think both Wardley and Clarke will have learned a lot from their first fight, and I think they'll both be better in a second fight. Wardley is never going to have the boxing skills of Clarke, and Clarke is never going to have the athleticism of Wardley. But I think Wardley can improve his defense a little bit, and Clarke can improve his stamina a little bit. Also, Wardley can maybe get that scar tissue sorted out on his nose, because that's been an issue for several fights now. And in fact, I do just want to say this with regards to Wardley's nose. His fans are trying to make out as though without that nose injury, he would have just destroyed Frazer Clarke, which is absolutely ridiculous. Frazer Clarke was outboxing him in there. That nose injury didn't occur out of thin air. It occurred as a result of Frazer Clarke's punches. Wardley's fans are pushing this narrative that Wardley couldn't breathe because of the nose injury, but actually, the cut was on the outside of the nose. If there was bleeding on the inside of his nose as well, again, that's the result of Frazer Clarke's punches. And that wasn't a pre-existing injury if there's bleeding on the inside of the nose. Only the scar tissue on the nose bridge was pre-existing. And again, that doesn't affect your breathing. So I just wanted to be fair regarding this nose issue because some people are trying to take every bit of credit away from Frazer Clarke and make out as though him giving Wardley as much trouble as he did was some type of aberration. It's nonsense. Frazer Clarke and Fabio Wardley are evidently very evenly matched. One of them is the better boxer, Frazer Clarke, and the other is the better athlete in Fabio Wardley. Wardley also has, to my way of looking at it, a better chin, and he's a bit more tenacious than Frazer Clarke. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments section below. Would you like to see a rematch between Wardley and Clarke? If so, do you think it should be next, or do you think they should maybe rematch each other somewhere down the line? Let me know how you feel in the comments section. And before I go, if you want to hear post-fight reviews for many of the other undercard bouts which happened over the weekend, I've uploaded them to my Patreon page. So go check them out on there. If you're interested in my extra boxing content, just select the boxing tier. It's very cheap. There's no commitment, no contract. It's just like Netflix, but far less expensive. You can cancel at any time, etc., etc. So yeah, check me out on Patreon for my extra boxing content.